Hey guys, I'm back with another video, and today I like to talk about my journaling system. As of moment, I have 6 journals that I have been keeping around for a while, and those 6 journals have each designated purpose, use. Yeah, it has its own purposes. So I like to talk about how let me show you how these 6 genres uh, have helped me to organize my life and plan it out more conveniently, I guess. So yeah, I'm just gonna share what they are, and then explain in a bit more detail with different angles. Okay, so first of all, I have journals. This is my diary that I write down my thoughts or some special memories that I want to remember. So I don't know if you can see this. This is really thick one. So it has 384 pages. So I originally bought this to for my year, just 1 year, but I don't write journals every day. I only write it when if I feeling somewhat special. It could be really sad, or it could be really angry, or it could be really happy, things like that I want to remember this feeling. So I don't write it every day. I don't write, and I don't usually write, what I did, or what how my day went. I don't write things like that. I only write mostly my thoughts. If I'm having really anxious about my future, or I just write these things down. And if I have something really made me happy for the day, I write my emotions and my feelings and my thoughts. Not like hey, I woke up and I met this and met this person, and we did this, and then I came home. And I don't write my days, how my day went. More the moment of emotions. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but yeah. So that's why I don't write things. I write my journals every day, and I started this journal in 2011, and now I only use the half of this. So I'm thinking maybe this journal could be my journal for my 20s, my entire 20s. And then I have one more this notebook, and maybe that can be my 30s, journal for my 30s. So yeah, this was my journal. This one is my travel journal, which is way small and compact than my just daily journals. This one is it's same thing. It's basically same thing. I write it my thoughts and emotions and memories, but I I write in this when I'm on my trips. So if I'm on vacation or some trip, or maybe business trip in the future, when I'm not in my home, my regular routine, if I'm away, if I'm anything, it could be if I'm traveling with my friends, families, and then if I want to write down these memories, and I write in here. So it's very compact because I like to bring this with me when I'm on my trips. So if any time if I want to remember this moment, I'm just gonna take it out and write down my thoughts and memories. So this is my travel journal, and these two are more like my like a faith journal. So this one I write down my sermons during my like Sunday services, or whenever I go to church, and whenever I go to church, and I'd write down the sermons that given that day. And then also when I'm reading Bible, like I try to read it some verbs every day. And then if something catches my eyes that I like to write down and keep with me, I write things like the short verbs like that. So I don't know if you can see this. The blue writing is sermons, and the black, just regular black, is the Bible, like some verbs from Bible that I write to remember. So whenever I feel feel a little bit depressed, like unmotivated, I like to just read this and feel so much better, basically. So this one is like my Bible journal. Yeah, it could be my sermon and Bible journal. And this one is, it's leather. It was originally, for, I don't know if you can see it, there are alphabets. It's originally like phone book or address book, but I use this as the journal of my prayers. So when I'm praying, I like to write it down so that I can see what was my prayers like 2 years ago, what I've been praying for. So I can look back and then see if my prayers like actually came through or not, things like that, because I don't want to remember my prayers. I don't want to forget my prayers. So that is why I'm keeping it here. So on the first page, I write down things that I'm grateful. And then on the, it's the same paper, but on the back page, I write down, my prayers. So I don't want, I try not to just pray for what I want. I also want to, be grateful at the same time, because that's just how I feel. So here I keep what I'm grateful about, and then what I'm praying for. So it could be my prayer journals. And last two is more like my day-to-day basis. So I keep this is my cash book. So I write down every like incomes and every expenses, and by daily basis. So for example, this one was May 2006. So I write down dates and then the balance. And then the balance is blue writing. And then the red writing is my expenses. And then the highlighted is the total amount of my expenses. So if I spend like $3 coffee, like $4 salad, in total it's gonna be $7. So I write down all my expenses and all my incomes, and then at the end of every month I like sum up all my expenses, and then I like break it down by categories. So for example, in May I spend, let's say I spend total like $400, and then I break it down by like transportation, my mobile, for my mobile, food, like cafe, like snacks, like beauty, fashion, etc. So I like to categorize that. I like break it down so I can see and I can track like where I spent my money, how much I spend for each category. So I can compare, like, so in May I spent this much for my food, but in, like, let's see, April I spent this much, so I spent more. And then I can see, like, in average how much I need to spend for my food in average, like in a year or in 6 months. I spend this much for my food, so all of this information helped me to set like set budgets, or I can really analyze my spending habits, and it's really useful for me to set like budgets and like money saving goals, because I know my spending patterns and how much I spend for what. So it really helped me. And then also when I was studying in Germany for 6 months, I know exactly, like, from the day one until, like, when I got home, like, those 6 months is like, I know exactly what I used for and how much I used for. So, like, if I'm planning on vacation, or if I'm, like, like, preparing another, like, long journey, or long stay in abroad, I can see through all of this. So in total I spent this much, and I spent like this much for, like, housing, this much for food. I can analyze it and prepare for my another, like, trip in abroad. So it really, this is my first note in my second. So all of this information is so valuable, and it doesn't just, like, you can't get it in one day. And my, I'm she's been crying so much, so she's actually right here on my lap. I don't know if you can see this, but she's been crying so much. Like, whenever I'm filming, why are you so whining? So yeah, I'm carrying her right now, and she wants to get down, I guess. But you can't get down, Bundy. 이거 봐, 싫어? Yeah, and the last thing is my journal, like my planner. It has like a monthly layouts and weekly, Monday to Sunday layouts. So in the monthly layouts, I write down every, like, events that I need to be, or my church services or appointment, things like that. And then on weekly layout, I write down things that I need to do. So it's more like to-do list. So, like, Monday I need to do this, and then things like that. And then I do utilize some, like, post notes. So I write down things that the first thing is I need to buy, what I need to buy, I will keep in here. And then the next thing, I keep things that I need to do, but things that, like, doesn't have, like, exact date, like what date I need to do them. If it's, like, free, when you have free time, you can do this, but I don't know when I'm gonna be able to do this, but these need to be done, but I don't know when. These things goes here, go here. And then at the end of this planner, I keep my wish list, and I break it down into, like, clothing, bags, shoes, jewelry, accessories, like, etc., or, like, cosmetics. I think I break it down, so whenever I have, like, some extra money, I know exactly, what I have been wanting to buy. And then I also keep I have many pages of wish list. I also keep my bucket list. So these are the things that I want to achieve in my lifetime. So these are not like New Year goals. These are like my whole life goals, like goals of my whole life. And then I also have page for milestone. So in order to achieve my bucket list, I need to plan it out. And then because it, like if I like here as an example, one of my bucket list is to be fluent in German. And I need to be more specific and motivated to achieve this goal. So I set out like milestones. So for example, okay, I'm 27 now in Korean age, but like 26 in international age. So just FYI. So let's say in my 28th, I want to go to, like, I want to start studying in German university. I mean, not in masters. I want to start my masters in German by 28th. So that I can, like, these milestones is like just for, like, I don't know how to say. It's like marks that help me to get motivated to actually achieve my bucket list. So I don't just like write down my bucket list. I also write down milestones. So how and when I am actually gonna achieve those goals. So yeah, things like that. And then the next page is my 2017 goals. So it's more like minor, I guess. For example, like it's like losing 10 kilograms, or like travel to Hawaii or New York. It's more like minor and like short term, I guess. And then I also, in this page, I also break it down, like the same system here. So I also break it down 2017 into like 4 months, like 3-4 months. So January to April is gonna be my first term, and then say May to August is like my second term. So I break it down into 3 terms, and then I set down like, yeah, and then I write down the small like milestones. So in first term, I'll need to achieve this much. Like for example, I said I want to lose 10 kilos. So I break it down into, so in first term, you need to lose at least 3 kilos. At least I need to lose 3 kilos in my first term, so I can keep the same pace and lose the rest of my weight in the rest of my year. So does it make any sense? So I set my goals, and then I set my like milestones to help me achieve the goals. And the next page, I have books to read. I really like reading, but at the same time, I can't focus on reading. I'm having some like problems, so I write down all the books that I want to read, and then I mark the books that I want to read in this year. So, and then the same system goes here. So in first term, January to April, you read like 5 books. So my goal for 2017 was to read at least 20 books. So in order to achieve my goals, I need to break it down and give it more like small goals. And then the next page, I have like YouTube videos to film. If I have any ideas, I write down. I like to write down. And the final page, I have financial goals, budgeting plan. So I'm not working, like I haven't graduated yet, and I'm not working at the moment, like, like full-time job. I don't have full-time job yet, but when I get my full-time job, this is how I want to like break down my income and save for each item. Like I have fixed cost. It's gonna be 25% of my whole income, and then I want to save 30% of my income for house, 15% for car, 5% for health, 5% for emergency, 5% for marriage, 5% for my retirement, 5% for vacation, and 5% for birthday shopping. I wrote down birthday shopping but it's more like Christmas shopping. And my fixed cost consists of these items, like I need to pay for my rent. I'm still living with my parents, but in the future, like I think I'm gonna move out. So rent, food, transportation, insurance, clothing, like meeting friends, emergency, like things like that. So this is just my like goals layout for my goals, but it could be, like change it, because once I get to know how much I'm gonna be able to making, and if I'm gonna be moving out, or there's so many things that are not like for sure yet. So it's just my like trying out layout, so it could be changed, but I like to at least have some kind of like idea, that so that it it can help me to be prepared. So yeah, that was my 6 journals and like, the contents of the journals. So my dog is still whining. I don't know what's wrong with her, but yeah, I'm gonna go and play with her, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.